Alright, so we got some breaking news here, and the breaking news has significant ramifications as we're trying to get through the smoke screens of some of these NFL teams making significant moves right before the NFL draft. Now, really quickly, guys, I have some crazy news to tell you guys. So, I don't know if you guys know, but I do have 3 YouTube channels. Actually, I have a little bit more than 3 YouTube channels. The first one, The Flight Mike, covers the NBA. The second one, Mikerophone, covers the NFL. And the third one, Flight Mike TV, covers YouTuber drama and stuff of that nature. So I don't typically post on the Flight Mike TV unless there's something big happening, and when the EDP situation happened, we started covering that on Flight Mike TV. Now the reason why I'm telling you this is I actually have an exclusive interview going up with the guy that caught EDP that has also come under some fire as well, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. I'm going to leave a link to that in the end screen, or you could just go to the description down below and check out Flight Mike TV. If you subscribe and turn on our notifications there, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Over this entire offseason, there's been some tension between the Carolina Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater. Earlier on, Teddy Bridgewater did the sacred ritual of unfollowing his team off of social media, indicating that he's fairly disgruntled with them. And the reason was because it seems as though the Carolina Panthers really wanted to move on from him. Now, Teddy Bridgewater is one of those players that you just love to root for because he technically shouldn't even be in the NFL right now after the freak injury that happened to him following the 2015 season. He rehabilitated, came back to Minnesota. Minnesota decided to move on from him in 2017. He went to New Orleans for 2 years before finally getting another shot in 2020 with a rebuilding Carolina Panthers team. Now, with the Carolina Panthers, he was pretty decent. He wasn't amazing, but he was pretty decent, completing 69% of his passes for 3,733 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Now, I suppose the situation here that went down was Matt Rule thought the reason that the Carolina Panthers weren't so good was because of Teddy Bridgewater, whereas you could also see this in the lens of, hey, Teddy Bridgewater is on a hardcore rebuilding team. He didn't even have Christian McCaffrey last year. Their defense isn't what it used to be, so obviously, they weren't going to be the best team coming in last year, but unfortunately, in this new NFL, there isn't a lot of patience with quarterbacks and quarterback development and seeing whether or not they're an actually good fit in any offense. I always make the joke that if Peyton Manning played in this NFL, then he would probably be out of the NFL after a year because, well, Peyton Manning was horrible in his first year. But needless to say, eventually the Carolina Panthers decided to trade for the New York Jets' 3rd overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, Sam Darnold. They only had to give up a 6th rounder in the 2021 NFL Draft, a 2nd rounder, and a 4th rounder in the 2022 NFL Draft, which is a very, very low risk if you ask me, comparing Sam Darnold to the other quarterbacks that you could have potentially taken at the 7th overall spot. I think Sam Darnold was the best option for them, which led us to all question what's going to happen with Teddy Bridgewater. Is he going to get into this competition with Sam Darnold? Kind of similar to what happened with Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles. Well, today we got ourselves an answer here, and I'm going to tell you why this answer is significant, because this has significant draft implications. According to Tom Pelissero and Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, the Carolina Panthers are trading their quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to the Denver Broncos for a 6th round pick. As Tom Pelissero reported, the Panthers are paying Bridgewater $7 million, and the Broncos are paying him $3 million per source. This trade does not take Denver out of the quarterback market on Thursday night per source. Now, I don't know if you guys were watching a lot of Broncos games last year, but Drew Lock definitely came down to earth after having 5 good games in his rookie season. His sophomore season, he only completed 57% of his passes. He threw 15 interceptions to 16 touchdowns, and if Teddy Bridgewater didn't get the nod of approval for the Carolina Panthers, then Drew Lock certainly didn't for the Denver Broncos. Originally, the Denver Broncos were thought of being a team that is absolutely infatuated with players like Justin Fields and Trey Lance. And with the NFL draft being right around the corner, I see this kind of as Trey Lance and Justin Fields insurance. As a matter of fact, Jeff Schwartz went ahead and said that the San Francisco 49ers are not drafting Mac Jones, which is another sign as the Broncos trade for their backup plan because Justin Fields and Trey Lance will be gone by the time they pick. Very interesting. Now, I can't go out and say definitively that the San Francisco 49ers are or are not drafting Mac Jones. They've done a remarkable job causing a bunch of smoke screens to make sure that we have no idea who they're going to draft. But this is seen more as some sort of insurance in the event that the Denver Broncos will not be in a situation where they could draft Trey Lance or Justin Fields. And if you want my personal prediction, I did put a decent amount of money down that the San Francisco 49ers are going to draft Justin Fields. Just the odds are too good for me not to do that. And I'll let you know how that goes on my Instagram page if you guys want to check me out there. All in all, I think this is a very interesting move because if I'm the Carolina Panthers, you're still paying Teddy Bridgewater $7 million this year. He definitely had one of the cheapest contracts in the entire NFL as a starting QB, and I felt like Teddy Bridgewater's role in Carolina was to, well, be a bridge quarterback. And I felt like that was his role for the very beginning. And just giving up on him so quickly without really giving him a shot kind of defeats the point of bringing him on in the first place. And what I mean by that is I thought Teddy Bridgewater was being signed by the Panthers so you could have a stable quarterback in place while you try to fix the other aspects of your roster. Like currently, the Panthers have huge needs at offensive tackle, at cornerback, and at tight end. And then I would say they have a pressing need at quarterback. But making a QB shuffle this early on, it's not to say that it's a bad move, more it's the fact that I don't get why they brought Teddy Bridgewater in to begin with. Meanwhile, you have the Denver Broncos who literally only had to give up a 6th round pick and only need to pay Teddy Bridgewater $3 million this year before paying him the final year of his contract, and maybe he's the short-term solution for them under center because, like the Panthers, the Broncos also have other pressing needs at linebacker and at cornerback, and probably the most polarizing prospect in this year's NFL draft at the linebacker position is Micah Parsons, a player that seems to have remarkable talent but significant question marks off of the field due to some incidents that have occurred in his past. Or the Denver Broncos are in prime position to take Patrick Surtain II or JC Horn, or even trade back a little bit and take Caleb Farley. Either way, I really like where the Broncos are because no matter what, they are in a situation where value meets need for them in the NFL draft. And either way, if they decide not to select a quarterback this year, they at least have a solution at the quarterback position. Teddy Bridgewater actually has a great opportunity to revive his career and actually prove that he's more than a bridge quarterback with the Denver Broncos. They have probably my favorite wide receiver core after going wide receiver in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft last year, selecting KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy. They have Noah Fant at the tight end position, and they always had Cortland Sutton, who's been a stud. And so if you ask me, this is a huge W if you're Teddy Bridgewater. This is a savvy move by the Denver Broncos. This is a pretty good move by the Carolina Panthers. At least they don't have to pay Bridgewater as much, and they don't have to deal with his attitude this entire year. And I think all around every team won. However, I can't help but wonder what the 49ers are going to do with the number 3 pick. So let me know in the comment section down below. Who's being selected number 3 overall by the San Francisco 49ers? Because we're getting so many smoke screens and conflicting reports. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.